Well, if you don't believe you're worth something, you won't have it. And if you don't believe you're worth to other people, you won't make it. You've got to have a mindset that believes that you have something to offer the world and that you have something worth saving and investing in yourself. Unless you value you, don't expect other people to value you. Unless you save, don't expect other people to help you save. Unless you invest in yourself, don't expect other people to invest in you. You've got to value you. And that's why I talk about the value systems, because unless you value you, and when you are doing something that's truly important to you, you'll value you. When you try to be living according to somebody else's values, you won't. So many people actually are living in another world. They're trying to be somebody they're not. And when they're trying to be somebody they're not, they beat themselves up. And when they beat themselves up, they don't feel worthy. And then they sacrifice for other people because they feel minimized to people. And so the key is to, whatever you identify, one of the exercises I do in my program called the Breakthrough Experience is I have people identify the most powerful people in their life that they see. And then I have them identify what are the traits that make these people powerful. And then I have them own those traits and find out where they already have these traits. When they realize they have these traits and they're not missing, even they're surprised because they're blown away when they discover that. Then they start to value themselves. Instead of infatuating with other people and minimizing themselves to other people, they stand on the shoulders of giants instead of in the shadows of giants. When they do, they value themselves. That's an important component of wealth building. Because the second they value themselves, the world around them changes. And they value what they have to serve, and they value what they have to receive. And they're now willing to go and do more service for the world, and they're absolutely welcome now more wealth into their life. So owning that they're valuable is one of the keys. That's a mindset, and it's a strategy. Well, the first step is to go and do what I call the DeMartini value determining process. And you go in there and look at what is truly valuable. What does your life demonstrate that's valuable to you? What I would do is find out what those are, fill out the form on the process, determine what the top 3 or 4 values are. And if you don't see wealth building in there, just know you're not likely to be wealth building unless you can change the values. But whatever it is at the top, that's what you want to organize your life towards. That's what you want to prioritize your actions towards. Because when you're doing what you love and loving what you do, you have the greatest capacity to build and awaken the natural born leader, the natural ability to feel worthy, and the natural feeling that I contribute to society and I can serve people and that I value myself and I deserve to have wealth back. So you have to value yourself, and living congruently with your highest values is the key to doing that. Their highest value is always their love. That's what they're inspired to do. You know, my highest value is traveling the world and teaching. I set out when I was 17 to step foot on every country on the face of the earth and share my research findings with people and research every day and share and inspire people and help teach people, you will. I love doing that. Nobody has to remind me to do it. Nobody has to get me up in the morning to do it. Nobody has to inspire me to do that. I love doing that. Finding that is the key. And the way you do it is by looking at what your values are, doing the value determination, and then organizing your life and structuring your life where you're able to do the highest priority action steps in your life. That means delegating lower priority things, sticking to higher priority things, raising your self-worth so you raise your net worth. Anytime you live congruently with your highest values and align your actions and your daily disciplines to that, you're going to grow your self-worth and ultimately your net worth. So the mindset is one that is certain, and when you're living according to your highest values, you develop certainty because you walk your talk. You won't limp your life. But if you're setting goals that aren't really yours, injecting the influences of other people and trying to be somebody you're not, you'll automatically try to be somebody you're not, and you will then not achieve it. And you'll be doubting yourself, and your self-worth goes down, and your net worth goes down. Your self-worth and your net worth have a lot to do with each other. And when you're congruent with your highest values, your net worth and self-worth take off. Well, I had a gentleman that basically sat there in I won't say where, but he's in the middle of the States, United States. And he said, my wife is telling me that she's about to leave me. I don't know what to do. I seem like no matter what I do, I can't get ahead financially. She expected by now that I would be wealthier than I am, and I can't seem to get ahead. And we looked at his values. We did his value determination. We found out that his highest values was the study of metaphysics, personal development, trying to be spiritual, and he was every dollar he had, he would go to metaphysical classes and spiritual classes. And he was sitting there expecting himself to be business savvy and financial savvy, and I asked him if he ever reads books on those areas. He said no, they put him to sleep. But personal spiritual development he's into. Well, he was expecting himself to be financially viable and business savvy in an area that wasn't important to him. And his wife was projecting onto him an expectation on him to do that. because she was living in the fantasy that he was going to live outside his values. But the truth is he's going to live according to his values. And if you asked him about spirituality and metaphysics and things of this nature, he was excelling in that area, but not when it came to business and finance. So I told him, I said, as long as you're living with those value systems, you're going to keep getting those results. So we either got to change the values to match the goals, or we got to set goals to match the values. And if your wife is not willing to be with you for who you are, it's time for her to go find somebody else and love somebody that really matches her values. So she didn't really want to leave. She wanted to change him. So he decided he didn't really want to leave her. So he decided, well, how do I change the values? I said, well, we got to stack up the benefits now of building a business that serves ever greater numbers of people, building wealth in your life. And so I asked him question after question, how could building a business and building your business specifically help you in your life and help you with spiritual things and help you with your metaphysical studies? And I had to link business to that. Then I had to link saving money to that, and I had to studying money to that. And as I sat there with him for the next 2 hours, linking all the things that were required for him to get finances and business growing, and I linked it to what is highest on his values presently, that changed his destiny. In the next 3 months, he took $30,000 he was in debt in and wiped it clear. No debt in 3 months. Where beforehand it was taking him years to chip away at that thing. In 3 months he got rid of it. He salvaged his relationship and his business grew. Because unless you have a value on doing something, you can't expect it to grow. In this case, he changed his values to match what he said he wanted to do. And some people, I don't do that. I just have them honor who they are and quit living in fantasy. Because anytime you expect yourself to live outside your highest values, you got a fantasy.